Hey everyone, I'm Jack with Sioux Falls Dent Repair. So today I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about some of the tools I used in the International Dent Olympics competition at IASRE in Japan here in December of 2024. I was fortunate enough to be able to not only attend this awesome conference, but also be able to participate in the International Dent Olympics. What we do here is you sign up for it, you have to go in and then draw a number, and then you are selected as far as which dent you're going to be fixing. So generally they're all the same dent, it's just located on different parts of the same panel. So for instance, I was number 35, and you'll get a randomized as far as which dent on that door you're fixing. So typically I believe there was either 4 or 5 dents in a line on that door panel, or door I should say, and then there was also a dent up in the rail, the roof rail, which is the piece that goes between the upper door frame and the roof skin. So basically where the panel kind of rounds around there, it goes all the way to the back of the vehicle. And not only that, it's on a vehicle that we don't have in the United States. So if I remember right, it was a Toyota, I don't remember which model, but little like compact looking car, basically like a hatchback style. So I started off on the door actually, and I was fortunate enough to where my good friend Zan Vidic, he actually has won this competition 9 times around the world, not just in Japan, but also in other countries, including the United States. He actually let me use one of his tools that almost exact same thing as this. Some of the highlights of this is, it's about a 2 to 3 inch round dent, and I want to start that with a very soft tip style tool. So he actually gave the tool to me to use, which had a red cherry cap on it just like this, and you basically start on the repair by slowly working it out with the big fat cherry cap on there, and then once you get closer to the end of the dent, or towards making it, I should say, and then once the cherry cap is removed, it actually has a BB style tip. So I'll go ahead and it's a rounded BB style tip here. So it's a rounder, softer push, but not super sharp by any means. On here, another thing to note is this handle is actually removable and it'll actually twist. Now there is, but basically this is the style of tool that I use to start the dent repair for the dent repair competition. So from there, we actually went on ahead and swapped out and went to a sharper tool. This is the Super Scythe, available from dentreaper.com. One thing, I've had this tool for, well, since it came out, I believe it's been close to 2 years or something. So another thing that's nice about this is the Gorilla Grip handle that I'm showing on here. This is an adjustable handle. This actually attaches to both tools, so it's really nice to be able to go ahead and work on the dent. And like I said right there, that's a really sharp style tip tool. One thing that was nice about that is that it allows you to do really fine precision pushing. So towards the end of the dent, you're working out, basically the orange peel or texture of the dent. So you need something really sharp and really fine to be able to work that out. So that's what I used on the door tool, or the door dent, I should say. And then once we got up to the rail and whatnot, I actually used a combination of a couple different tabs. So some of these being brand new tabs that were actually released at the Dent Repair Japan show, IASRE. These are the gear tabs available from Keco. So it's the gear variety pack, and then they're available in the dead center blue and the ice material. So basically what that means for non-dent people is the 2 different types of materials. The transparent blue is actually a harder material, whereas the darker, not transparent blue is a little bit softer. It has a little more bend to it. It creates a completely different pull. So even though these tabs are, they would look the same, I do want to actually showcase what exactly is a gear style tab. So these were brand new. I didn't even know these were going to be released, but I'll try to show these the best I can. So basically, if you can see there, there's a little gear looking setup on here, and this is actually allows for the edges of the tab to basically flex and grab a little bit different, and that changes the type of pull, therefore making it a very useful tab. So I used a combination of not only those gear tabs, but also Dent Reaper tabs as well. So these are the gold ones here, so these tend to pull a little bit more solid, whereas the purple ones, I've talked about those many times. So I used a combination of the purple tabs, the gold tabs, as well as the gear flex tabs here. So these worked really, really well. I'm really excited to get out on the hail trail to be able to put these really into work. I've got to use them a few times here, but I think where they're really going to shine, in my opinion, is going to be those, small, medium, and especially hail style dents. I think they're going to work fantastic. Another thing I was able to get my hands on was one of the Keco hammers. So one thing that was really nice, I was able to sit down with Danny Hacker over at Keco and really kind of dial in this hammer for my liking. They've got a couple, quite a few different styles, quite a few different lengths. They've got different hammer heads. Obviously, these tips are all interchangeable and come off, along with there's some of them. So I personally like to use a lot of times the side of the hammer to get more of a hit with the knockdown. I'm not going to use a hammer head or anything to hit that. They do make a specialized hammer for that, but I personally preferred the weight of this hammer with these tips on it myself. So again, thanks again for Danny for getting me pushed in the right direction here with these this specific hammer and these tips. So we were able to sit down and basically go over a lot of the different options, different hammer heads, styles, all that stuff, weights, lengths, everything. I mean, if you guys need a blending hammer and you sit down with Hacker or any of the guys over at the Keco crew over there at one of the booths, and they'll really get you dialed in for exactly what you need. I really appreciate them taking the extra time to really go ahead and fine tune the hammer to the technician. So being able to sit down and work with it and get a feel and, kind of simulate or whatever. And they even have hoods and stuff typically at the shows that they're doing demos on. So you can even actually go put a dent in a hood or something and actually use the hammer right then and there. So the nice thing about this is it's got a blending tip on here, which is pretty awesome. I actually wasn't even aware of this tip, but it actually matches their knockdown, as well as they were able to get me hooked up with a removable tip knockdown as well. So these were very big, important things to use in any type of competition, a hammer and a knockdown. This is actually the Dent Vision shock blocker. I actually already have the original one, but obviously I had to pick it up in the beautiful lime green here because it matches all of my colors, obviously. As well as I wanted an extra one just so I can, have extra tips on it, not have to interchange them all the time. All right, so now that I've covered the knockdown, we're going to talk about the tip here. So this is the Anson Galaxy tip here with, you've got basically different caps you can put on it. So you can actually use it without a tip or anything on it. A sharp metal tip, and then you can put these rubber caps on here, and they've got different thicknesses and whatnot. So they all work a little bit different. So I believe the yellow is the hardest of them, and they come with a black and a green. So it's yellow and then green and then black is the softest. So I personally prefer to use the yellow. I've got bags of these at the shop that I use quite often, and I go through them quite often, and it's really nice. One of my biggest complaints with knockdowns typically is just getting them clean and right back to the point where they were when you bought them brand new. And obviously you can polish them and everything like that, but these I can literally just pop the cap off, pop a new one on, and done. So I don't have to mess around with anything. I'm not polishing, doing anything. That's where these really shine. I really do like using these. And don't get me wrong, I use other knockdowns as well on a daily basis, including VIPs and other ones. But this one is really nice, like I said, because you can just pop cap off and go back to town on it. So, which would be really important, obviously, in any type of competition where you're trying to work very fastly. And I guess, anyways, some of the other things on the competition. So it was the first time I had ever competed in any type of one person competing at a time. So I've done multiple of the group or the tag team style events at these seminars and whatnot, specifically in the States, down in Orlando and in Vegas. But this was the first time I'd ever competed all by myself. I was an absolute nervous wreck. I was sweating, and I'm not one to sweat. So like I'm sweating, I'm shaking. I don't know why. Anyways, whatever. A couple other things I did use that were outside the norm is I used a new prototype slide hammer and what else was it? Oh, some different glue and a different glue gun. So, that just changes things up a little bit when you're not using what you're used to. And I obviously was not going to bring a bunch of stuff with me over to Japan. I was just like, I'm just going to roll with what I can get, either buy or be able to borrow some types of tools. Was absolutely great. The hospitality over there was absolutely fantastic. It was awesome. It was cool getting to see, different style cars that we have over here in the States and then get to work on them. Incredibly soft metal, totally pushes really, really different, and it was really thin. You could really tell just by pushing on it how much the metal wanted to move and how different it was than some of the cars. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the cars in the States are similar-ish, but it was just really interesting on how soft the metal seemed to be. I guess at the end of the competition, I did end up checking. Unfortunately, I didn't place first. I ended up, there is, I believe, a total of 48 technicians total, and I placed 30th. So not great, but I was actually really happy with it. I was just like, as long as I'm not last, but I was a nervous wreck on it. Door dent turned out really, really good. The rail dent had a little bit of wave in it, and when you're competing at this type of level of, you know, international people, just a little itty bitty wiggle or wave in the panel is going to just completely bump you way off of even being in the top 8 essentially. So, but was an absolutely fantastic time. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really glad. I was a nervous wreck, but I really did enjoy it and getting to experience it. I did take a full video of the entire repair time. So we'll see. I don't know, maybe I'll just throw that whole thing up on YouTube or whatever, just leave it unedited, just so you guys can watch it if you'd like to. It was 45 minutes for 2 dents. And it was an absolute blast of a time. I had a lot of fun being able to do it. And you know, now I'm getting to talk about it. So I guess I did want to say one other thing I did want to add. The Super Scythe tool available from Dent Reaper is available in different lengths. I use the shorter of the two. Check out dentreaper.com. They'll have both of them on there listed. But I did just want to showcase that they do make 2 different sizes of this exact tool. I had an absolute blast of a time getting to compete in the IASRE in Japan here. I can't wait to go back in 26, and yeah, I'll do it again. Why not? So anyways, if you guys have any questions on any of the tools covered here, again, we've got things from Dent Reaper, things from Anson, the Gorilla Grip. We've got this one's available from A1 Tools, and John actually sells his own specific version of this tool with his name, basically his name attached to it. So be sure to check that out. Anson PDR for this, Keco, more Keco, and Dent Reaper for all the glue tabs and stuff like that that I used. If you got any questions on anything I did cover in this video, feel free to go ahead and leave it down in the comments. Message me personally or on any of my business pages. And you know, we'll see you guys on the next one. Be sure to check us out on all social media platforms at Sioux Falls Dent Repair. I'm Jack with Sioux Falls Dent Repair. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.